Hey, I'm Shay and welcome back to my channel, Books with Shay. So I'm not sure if this is the first video you're seeing from me in a really long time or if there's one that's going up before this, but I wanted to kind of do an intro to my very first day of the Reading Rush vlog situation. I didn't know if I was going to participate in the Reading Rush. I didn't know if I was going to vlog for the Reading Rush, but I think I've decided that I want to, because if you look back on my channel, the very first video that I ever posted was a TBR for the Reading Rush last year, and then I disappeared from BookTube for like 6 months because I was intimidated by it, and then I came back in around October, and kind of committed to it at that time. So it's nostalgic for me. I have memories here and I wanted to try to vlog for the Reading Rush. Anyway, this just happens to be coming in the midst of a major life change for me. So a lot of you guys know that with what my husband does for work, there's some real estate and house flipping and things like that involved. And we've been living in his latest flip, but some things have fallen through with the investor, and it turns out that we are moving away from this house, and moving is always a big deal, but it turns out we're actually moving cross country. And so I found out a little less than a week ago. We have less than a week before we leave, so it's a very fast cross country move, and this just so happens to be moving week for me. So this is Monday, and on Saturday we'll pull out with the U-Haul to head to our new location. And so daily vlogging is going to definitely be difficult, and I think I'm only going to be able to do it Monday through Friday because obviously on Saturday I will be in the car or in the U-Haul driving cross country, and so I won't be able to get a vlog up on Saturday or Sunday, but I will vlog as we drive and what I read and everything, and then when we arrive in our new location and figure out our internet situation, I'll upload that vlog then, I think is my plan. So I'm hoping that a TBR went up before this, but with the way this week is going, like truly, who knows if it did. So I guess you know at this point, but where I am right now, I don't know if it's going up or not. But on my TBR, basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to do 7 books in 7 days, and I'm doing them all pretty much except for 1 book of poetry. I'm doing them all on audiobook because of my moving situation. I am packing, I am organizing, I am loading, I am doing all that. So I'm not able to sit down and physically read this week because this is just a whirlwind of a week, but I can listen on audiobook. So this is kind of my Reading Rush audiobook edition. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and start. So I have 4 books that if I complete those 4 books, I will have completed every challenge. And so I want to get to those 4 books first in case I can't get to all 7, so that I've still won or completed the Reading Rush even if I don't get to read all 7 books. And so I'm thinking, just because it is the first one that comes to mind and it's for the prompt, the first book I touched, I'm going to be reading One to Watch. And let me see if I can find it. Everything is in boxes and crazy over here. So I'm going to be reading One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. It looks like this. The reason why this is the first book that I touched, which this is a book of the month book. We're not doing book of the month anymore, but this is like the last order that I got from them. And the reason why I chose to do this one as the first book I touched was because actually before I picked my TBR for the Reading Rush, I had already packed the majority of my library because it was the easiest thing for me to pack, like putting the books in boxes. And so I didn't have very many books that weren't in boxes, and this is pretty much one of the only ones I had out. So therefore it's going to be for the first one I touched. So I'm going to go ahead and see if they have that on Scribd or if they have it on Libby, and if they don't have it on either of those, I will try to get it on Libra FM, which is what I'm using for the most part instead of Audible right now, because they will give the money to a locally owned bookstore, and I have picked a Black bookstore in my current area called The Dock. So anytime I purchase an audiobook from Libra FM, they give money to The Dock, and I really, really love that. So I'm going to try to get my hands on that audiobook and start reading it while we're moving things. I want to show you guys kind of my moving situation, like my organization, all the things I'm doing. And so I think these should be some fun vlogs. I hope they're fun for you. I'm excited to be back. I've missed vlogging. Of everything I do on BookTube, vlogging is my favorite thing. So I am excited to get back into it. So yeah, so I'm going to go grab the audiobook and then get to packing. Okay, disclaimer, there will be some moving sounds in the background. around, so bear with me as we, you know, get together the life to move. As you can see, like, we were to the point of taking all the ceiling down here. The tread is off of the stairs over there. Like, it's a construction zone down here, so I'm so excited to be moving to a house with like a functioning kitchen and where I'm not like glamping. It's gonna be so awesome. But I wanted to tell you guys about my moving system in case you guys are moving soon. I tend to be really organized in this area, and so I came up with an entire little system. So basically I have my little, I don't know what this is called, like it's a clipboard but like with a like case attached, you know. And so inside my case I have some stickers that I made, and each of the stickers has a number and it's a color and it has a word on it. Like this one has a 3 and it's green and it says library. This one has a 2 and it's orange and it says patio. And there are ones in here. This one has a 1 and it's blue and it says coat closet. Everything that is blue with a 1 on it, no matter what room it says here, it goes on the first floor of our house, where we have like a room, a bedroom, a bathroom, a coat closet, and the garage, or pretty much everything that's down there, an entryway. So everything with a blue 1 goes to the first floor. Everything with a orange 2 goes to the second floor, where we have a patio and our kitchen, our living room, our office are all on that floor. And then everything with a 3 goes to the third floor. And if it's green, you know, it goes to the third floor, which is like our master bedroom, our guest bedroom, the library, things like that are up there. And then I have these little squares that are printed, and I have them in all of the colors that I just showed you. And I was rushing, so some of these stickers are wonky, like they're not exactly centered, but I was trying to get it done as quickly as possible. And then I printed off these sheets that look like this, and they have squares that are the same size as the stickers here, so these stickers can go here. And basically what I'm doing is I am putting a sticker, once I pack a box, I'm putting a sticker on the box and a number on the box, and then there's a second set of these numbers. So I take the second number and I put it in the binder, and then on this piece of paper that goes in the binder. So I put it on this piece of paper. So the box that has an orange 1 goes to the second floor, and I can see right here inside of that box is the food processor. And so when I'm in the new house and I'm looking for the food processor, I just have to find the box that has a sticker like this that says kitchen on it, and I just have to find the one that has a 1 on the box, and I know that that's where my food processor is. So I have all those inside of a binder over here that looks like this, that has all of the things that I've packed already kind of in here. And then I have these contents labels in case I want to put on the outside of the box what's actually in there. And then back here in these like clear plastic sheets, I have any important information, like what our like our welcome home letter from the landlord, the electricity letter, like the things that I need if I need reference numbers, the confirmation numbers for our hotels, because we're staying in a couple of hotels on the drive up. We're moving, I don't think I said this, but we're moving to Portland, Oregon from like the Fort Worth, Texas area. So on our drive up, we're staying in a hotel in Denver and a hotel in Boise, Idaho. And so on that like trip, we needed to book hotels and things like that, so all of my bookings are in there. That way if my husband needs to, or I need to check for confirmation or anything, everything is in there. So as I kind of pack, I'll show you guys like the boxes with the stickers so you can see how it works. But I kind of wanted to introduce my moving system to you in case you're moving soon, and then I will turn you guys around so you can see that most of my bookshelves are empty. I have another bookshelf over here and it's pretty much empty. So these are almost all done. I have a pile of books that I am decluttering over there, or I'm what's it called? I've never done it before, so I don't know what you call it. I'm unhauling, there we go, those books. And so I am getting really close on my library. I'll insert some footage here of me taking the library down and apart for you to see. I'm not taking these bookcases with me because they wouldn't make it cross country. If you've ever moved a Billy IKEA bookcase any distance, you know they get wobbly and wonky and weird, and it's more expensive to move these with me than it is to just buy new ones when I get to Portland. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working and start one to watch like I just said I was going to. So I'll talk to you guys soon.
Drunk, I've never seen you clearer than now. We're flying high, somewhere up in the clouds. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost Almost like I don't know if it's real, cause when we're doing our thing, we're like wheels that won't stop turning. So take me on a trip, 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 nah, trip, trip, trip. Oh, flick the switch, kill the lights. Oh, wasted. City lights are shining so bright. All these empty faces, we don't care about them tonight. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real, cause when we're doing our thing, we're the wheels that won't stop turning. I know we're acting stupid.
Okay, so I wanted to hop on and do a final update tonight. I did some packing, and every night this week, pretty much, we've been going to a dinner with friends here that we're gonna miss while we're, across country. So we've been practicing social distancing as much as possible and wearing masks and sanitizing our hands and staying 6 feet apart and only doing groups of a few people. But we wanted to see our closest friends and family before we left town indefinitely to live in another state. So I'm getting back from an awesome dinner, but I still found time to listen and read today. I didn't actually go over my TBR, so I feel like I should probably do that really quickly. I was thinking I was gonna film another, a separate TBR video today, post that, and then do this, you guys would see that today, I guess yesterday when you're seeing this, and then after that I would do the daily vlogs, but it didn't happen. So we're gonna throw in a TBR really quickly right here where it makes no sense at the end of this day one vlog, and then I'm gonna talk to you about what I've been reading. So for a book the color of my birthstone, I'm going to be reading The Trouble with Hating You. I did not write down any authors or anything on this, so I'll post a picture right here. I'm actually not even really sure what this is about. It was a romance book that was on my radar, and my birthday is in November, and so my birthstone is citrine, and this is like a citrine color, and so that's what I'm reading for that. For a book that starts with the word the, I have The Voting Booth on here to read. I'll again put a picture up, and I will read it if I get to it. It's at the bottom of my list though, because I have a few other books that start with the that meet other prompts, but my goal is to do 7 books in 7 days, and all of them except for one on audio since I'm packing and moving and everything. So for that I have The Voting Booth. For a book inspired by a movie that I've already seen, this one was actually really difficult because I don't watch a ton of movies, and if I do, it's usually because they're inspired by a book that I've already read. And so I actually picked Crazy Rich Asians for this because I love Crazy Rich Asians, the movie. And the funny thing is, on last year's TBR, I also had Crazy Rich Asians and I didn't get to it. So I'm hoping this will be the year that I finally knock out that book. And then for the first book that I touch, I think I talked about earlier in this vlog, that for that I'm reading One to Watch, which I already started and I'll talk more about in just a second. But like I said, I have already packed up most of my books, and that was just one of the couple of books that I had out, and so that's what I chose to go with. For a book completely outside of my house, this is gonna be a really easy challenge for me to complete. I know there was a lot of kind of controversy, I speak English, that sentence completely fell apart. I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding doing this because of COVID, and people were like, you should social distance and stay safe, and I totally support that. You 100% should. However, for me, I am about to drive cross country. The drive from where I live now to where I will be living is 30 hours, so I have time to finish quite a few audiobooks, especially with the contemporaries that I've been reading, but I'm going to make it my goal to read Such a Fun Age, which is also the group book for the Reading Rush. I'm thinking I'm going to do this in the car ride from Texas to Oregon. And I'm really looking forward to this because a part of the storyline of this is there is a nanny essentially that is out with a white child, and somebody sees her and thinks that the child has been kidnapped or something along those lines. As you know, I work in childcare. Before I worked in the school setting, I was a babysitter and a nanny, and I remember that when I had white families, I used to make them purchase t-shirts that matched the t-shirts that I would wear that had our company name on them and everything, so that people could quickly tell that that child was with me, that we showed up together, and that if they were crying or throwing a fit or whatever, it wasn't because I was this black woman that was stealing this baby. It was because kids throw fits sometimes, So I am excited to read that because I know that I have had personal experiences that are probably not this extreme, but that fit in that same vein. So that's what I'm doing for completely outside my house. For a genre I want to read more of, I chose to do poetry for this because I absolutely love poetry. Every time I pick up a book of poetry, I always love the experience, even if I don't love all of the poems. But I actually, today, I read my book for this. And so the book of poetry I chose was Helium by Rudy Francisco, and it looks like this. This is one of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen. Like the camera is not doing it justice, but it's a beautiful ombre with this black boy floating up with a balloon, and like I am obsessed with this cover. And as you can see by the tabs in this, I was obsessed with the poems. I have more tabs up here marking some of my favorites. This was easily, hands down, far and away a 5-star read for me. If you like poetry at all, or are trying to get into poetry at all, or trying to support Black poets or Black spoken word artists, I suggest that you pick this up. This was fantastic, phenomenal. I loved it so much. Like, I can't say enough good things. I actually started reading this just silently, you know, in my head, flipping through and tabbing what I liked, and I ended up liking it so much that I read almost the entirety of the book aloud to my husband and my sister while we all sat here and were like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And all of us liked it, and I think all of us would have given it 5 stars. It's so good. Like, if you like poetry at all, you should totally pick this up. And then the last prompt is takes place on a continent that is away from, on a different continent. See, that sentence fell apart too. It's getting too late. I am too tired. I need to shut this down. But one that takes place on a different continent from where you live. And for that, I think I'm going to pick up The Switch by Beth O'Leary. And I really liked The Flat Share by her. And so I'm hoping that I will like this one as well. But this one also is kind of on the bottom of my list because if I don't get to it, Crazy Rich Asians will count for that prompt. So the way I'm stacking them is the 4 books that I need to read to meet every prompt are Helium for the book in another genre, and I already finished this today and it was so good. And then I need to read One to Watch, and I also started that today. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then I need to read The Trouble with Hating You to make sure I get my birthstone, but that one can also count for a book with thee. And I need to read Crazy Rich Asians, which takes place in another country as well. And then completely outside of my house, I can do literally any of them, like any of these that I haven't read by the time I go on the road trip, I could listen to completely in the car, and they would be completely outside of my house. So I'll actually be between houses while I read it because we're done here on a Friday, but we don't get our keys to the new house till Monday, so I won't even have a house. It'll be perfect. So that's my TBR for this. Now, I've already talked about Helium, but in case you missed it, like, please pick this up. This is one of my favorite things I've read this year. Like, I loved this. So good. So then let's talk about One to Watch. I started this today. I am barely into it. I'm about 45 pages maybe. I'm looking for my bookmark. You probably don't care about the exact page. Still looking. 44. I am 44 pages into One to Watch by Kate Stayman London, and this is so good so far. I am looking forward to getting deeper into this. So the kind of premise about this, if you haven't heard of it, it is a story about a plus-sized fashion blogger who basically watches the equivalent of The Bachelor in her, gosh, every sentence, they're all gonna just crumble to pieces. It's about a plus-size fashion blogger that basically watches her version of The Bachelor with her best friend every single year. And one night they're having like a premiere of the show, and her best friend brings tacos and tequila, and they get wasted and watch the premiere, and she kind of live tweets it. And at the end of it, she writes a whole blog post, like a drunken blog post, about how it is not diverse or inclusive, how they say that they want to show regular people finding love, but you don't see people of color, you don't see plus size people, you don't see people like this on the screen, and how she really hates that. And the post goes viral, and basically somebody from the show contacts her in order to be the lead in the next season of The Bachelorette, or I can't remember what it's called here, like what the LT just whispered in the background, Main Squeeze. He was listening to this with me on audio while we did some stuff. But so be the lead of Main Squeeze and see if she can find love as a plus size woman. And I really love the way that this is addressing size and inclusivity. I love how it is so, it's real, it's tangible. The experiences that they've talked about in the book are experiences that I've actually had. It has a lot of Parisian influence. She went, like, she did a semester abroad in college in Paris and everything, and so there's like, it talks about French food and the clothes and things like that. And I studied French for a really long time, from when I was in like 2nd grade till I graduated high school. I know almost no French, it's almost all gone. But I wanted to go to Paris really badly. My mom surprised me for Christmas a few years ago and took LT and I and my sister, we all went to Paris, and it was crazy just being plus sized in Paris and being black and plus sized in Paris. It was just a really, really crazy experience. There are definitely not things that are catered to you, from going to cafes and trying to sit in the chairs, like much less trying to shop anywhere. And so I really love how raw and real this is, and the writing style is so intelligent. Like, it's funny and witty and there's banter and all of that, but it just has a really intelligent undercurrent to it. It doesn't feel like a trash beach read. It feels like, even though this is fun and there's love and there's, you know, all of these things that are going to be in this book, that it's actually talking about a serious topic in a way that's a little bit easier to swallow than just talking about diversity and inclusivity in a candid way, I guess. I don't know. It's just so far so good. So I'm on track right now to read a book a day, because today I needed to complete one book on my TBR, and I completed Helium, and by tomorrow I'm very sure I'm going to finish One to Watch, because this is so good. And so that's kind of where we are. So I am going to sign off for tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's daily vlog. I'm so excited to be back, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Da 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 da.